Good morning, my students, and have a nice day. In lesson 7-8, we are going to learn what is the difference between a chart, a graph, a diagram, and a table, and what are they used for. Now let's see together what is the difference between them. Check with me and in your book the pictures. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now before showing you what do we call each one, you have to try yourself. You will be allowed 1 minute to do that. Start, please. Now let's see together. In the first picture, we have a diagram. In the second one, we have a pie chart. In the third picture, we have a bar chart. In the fourth picture, we have a table. And we have line graph in the fifth picture. Check your answers. Correct the mistakes, if any. A chart, a graph, a diagram, and a table are used to represent numerical data, information, and trends. Now we have a group of words which describe the ups and downs in the bar chart, for example. Rise, fall, climb, decrease, rocket, drop, slip, and increase. Now in 2 minutes, try to classify them in ups or downs. Start, please. Now instead of saying go up, we can say rise, climb, rocket, and increase. And instead of saying go down, we can say fall, decrease, drop, slip. Now check your answers. Exercise number 3 in your workbook. Look at the charts and graph. Match them to the correct descriptions. Number 1. Overall, the trend didn't change much. Number 2. There was a modest increase in sales from one year to the next, while profits dropped slightly. Number 3. The period ended with a spectacular drop in sales. Number 4. The number of tourists went steadily upwards over the 3 years. Now you will be allowed 1 minute only to match the 3 statements to the correct descriptions. Start, please. And now let's check the answers together. Number 1, D. Number 2, C. Number 3, A. Number 4, B. Check your answers, please. And now let's move to the GDP of the UAE. But first we have to understand GDP stands for what. Let's watch this video.
What is gross domestic product, otherwise known as GDP? Gross domestic product is the market value of all finished goods and services produced within a country in a year. Think about the economy like a giant supermarket filled with millions of... Every time a finished good or service is sold, we ring up the price. At the end of the year, we ring up the total. That's the GDP. Let's look more closely at some of the details. Notice that we said GDP is the market value of all finished goods and services. A finished good or service is one that will not be sold again as part of some other good. When a bakery buys flour, eggs, and butter, we don't count these sales in GDP because these goods aren't finished. They are intermediate goods that, when combined, will become a finished good, a cake, for example. But if a consumer buys an egg to make an omelet, the egg is a finished good because it won't be sold again as part of some other good. In other words, our GDP supermarket is like a real supermarket. At the GDP register, we ring up the eggs sold to consumers and the cakes, but we don't ring up the eggs the baker used to make the cake. There are also goods that are used to make other goods but are still considered finished goods. These are called capital goods. If Caterpillar produces a tractor and sells it to a farm, the tractor is considered a finished good. The tractor is finished and its value is added to the GDP. Although the tractor is used to make other goods, it won't be sold again as part of another good. So the tractor is still a finished good. The GDP is the market value of all finished goods and services produced within a country in a year. GDP only counts production. If an old house is sold this year, that doesn't add to GDP since the house wasn't produced this year. Only the sale of new houses add to GDP. Let's go back to the definition one more time to see some of the limits of GDP as a measure of economic production. GDP is the market value of all finished goods and services produced within a country in a year. If a good isn't bought and sold in a market, then it's not typically counted in GDP. Why not? Counting the market value of, say, all the breakfast cereal produced in the US is easy, at least in principle. Just add up the price every time a box of cereal is sold. Since market prices are observable, every statistician who counts carefully will come up with pretty much the same number. But without market prices, there's no easy or agreed upon way to calculate how much a good is worth. Polar bears, for example, aren't counted in GDP. The statisticians and economists who calculate GDP have nothing against polar bears. The problem is that there's no easy way to calculate how valuable polar bears are. Just because GDP doesn't include polar bears doesn't mean that we can't love polar bears. And if polar bears were included in GDP, that wouldn't require us to love polar bears either. Ultimately, GDP is just a number, but it's a useful number. In the next few videos, we'll show how the GDP number can be used as a measure of the standard of living. But for that, we'll have to make a distinction between the nominal GDP, what we have just discussed so far, and real GDP. So stay tuned. If you want to test yourself, click Practice Questions. Or, if you're ready to move on, you can click Go to the next video. You can also visit mruniversity.com to see our entire library of videos and resources.
Now let's rank them in order of importance to the UAE economy. 38% of the GDP is from energy. 22% is from real estate. 12% from retail. 9% from tourism. And 8% from logistics. Exercise number 4. Listening activity. Listen to this dialogue. How interested is the person hearing the information? How do you know? What other things could they have replied? Listen, please.
Last year, our company had a turnover of over $2 million. And you know, we employ over 250 workers in our main factory.
Oh,
Now we're looking at expanding into the Chinese market.
yeah?
You will understand that your reply expresses your feeling. What other thing could they have replied? Now listen to these phrases and repeat them after the speaker. Try to produce the same intonation pattern.
Really? No.
Oh, yeah?
Wow, I never knew that.
That's very interesting.
Well, I never.
Oh, right.
Now try to repeat them. Yourselves. In 1 minute, please. Now, in 1 minute, try to repeat them yourselves. Now look at the phrases in bold. Identify the parts of speech and decide what the phrases refer to in the sentences. Hydroponic is an eco-friendly way of growing food. Way is a or an. Verb, noun, adjective, preposition. Eco-friendly is a, an. Verb, noun, adjective, preposition. An eco-friendly way refers to hydroponics or food. B. Aviation is a booming industry, symbolizing the rapid development of the country. Booming is an verb, noun, adjective, preposition. Industry is an verb, noun, adjective, or preposition. A booming industry refers to country or aviation. Now please try to tick the correct answer in 3 minutes. Start, please. Now let's check the answers together. The word way is a noun. Eco-friendly is an adjective. An eco-friendly way refers to hydroponic. Booming is an adjective, but industry is a noun. A booming industry refers to aviation. Check your answers. Correct the mistakes if any. Now we are going to complete the sentences with the words below. There are 2 extra words: family, market, nutrient, firm, employer, interest, kiln, skills, industry. Now you will be allowed 3 minutes to do the exercise. Start, please. Number 1. Europe is a key market for our products. Number 2. Our company is an important employer in the local community. Number 3. Thanks to the growth in construction, ceramics is a booming industry. Number 4. There has been a growing interest in our products from Asia. Number 5. Workers use traditional skills to produce a high-quality product. Number 6. We are a small firm specializing in floriculture. Number 7. The company started off as a family business and has grown into a multinational giant. And now you have to write a paragraph about an industry in the UAE. You should write about why it is an important industry for the UAE, why it is a good opportunity for investment. We are waiting for you to share your paragraphs. That's all for today. Now we are going to listen to this student's presentation. You have to make notes on what is wrong with the delivery of the presentation. Listen, please. Writing 2 or 3 words is enough. Listen, please.
Investing in real estate is one way of achieving a serious return on your capital. The UAE offers fantastic real estate opportunities to local and international investors alike. However, with increasing demand for real estate in the Gulf, finding the right property, be it houses, commercial premises, or land for agriculture, can be quite difficult.
Now, presentation cannot be delivered like this. So this presentation is too fast, without pausing. You should talk slowly. You should give some pause. That's all for today. Thank you.